Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Vehement Gamer back in the world of Warhammer 40k Dawn of War. In today's episode we are casting one of our games. It's a 3v3 game, Team 1 versus Team 2. And on this corner for Team 2 we have the Imperial Guard, played by the fantastic Fox.
Present and accounted for, sir.
For the Dark Eldar on Team 2's side, we have Xenos. And we have the Orks, played by Forced. Now that's Team 2. Now let's move on to Team 1. We've got exiled Viral, playing Eldar. We've got Zero G playing as Orcs. And we've got yours truly, John, playing as the Battle Sisters. So let's switch off the Fog of War and look at our standard openings for most of the players in the game.
By the Emperor.
Basically, these openings are pretty standard, just capturing points as much as they can. We got the Dark Eldar running around the map, along with the Imperial Guardsmen, capturing points as much as they can. Quite interesting play. Well, not much of it. Pardon me. That was an interesting play. But that being said, you know, everybody's just capturing points at this point and gathering as much resources as possible just to arm me up. But you can see here there's communication between the Dark Eldar and the Orcs going on. That's something that's quite interesting to see, because especially when you're playing team games, you always want to be communicating with your teammate. From what I see here, Team 2 is communicating, even if it's just a little. That's a sign of good playmanship. And since I've played this game, I don't remember we've ever done that for Team 1. For Team 1, we never chatted. We never said, okay, I'm doing this. Except for the Eldar. The Eldar actually did that. They communicated that, hey, I'm going to do Vipers. Vipers are very good against infantry. But they are vehicles. They're vehicle units. So the Dark Eldar and the Orcs were trying to figure out who takes the relic. It's kind of cool of them. But they know that once you have an Imperial Guard, you want to let them take the relic, because they're going to need that for a Baneblade. The Battle Sisters, however, just took it anyway. While, yes, we have the Eldar taking the relic. So as you can see here, we have the Imperial Guard moving forward, just taking the center map. They pushed forward all the way to the Battle Sister choke point. Take that point. We've got scouting going on in the middle map.
Jobs are good.
To the boy squads on both sides. There's a Slugger boy. Okay, so interesting. Team 2 Orcs went for Slugger boys, while Team 1 went for Shooter boys. The range versus melee / range. But the Dark Eldar on Team 2's side went for Helions. Oh, they got Slugger boys too. Yeah, Slugger boys. Orcs scouting centerpiece of the map, while Eldar probably arming up. Okay, so it looks like they're building their Vipers. That's what he said. At the start of the game, he communicated that he was going to do Vipers, which is great. Vipers are very good against infantry units anyway. As you can see here, there's a little bit of skirmish going on. And they wiped out that Slugger boy squad. That's scary. That's early game scary. You got two armies right there. So the Eldar decided to support the Orks. That's very nice playmanship there. It's funny, Team 1 Orks is working with Team 1 Eldar, and you've got Team 2 Orks working with Team 2 Dark Eldar. They're pretty much yin and yang. The Imperial forces on either teams, though, kind of differ, because you've got an Imperial Guard on Team 2 and you've got the Battle Sisters on Team 1. Okay, looks like they've dominated their half of the map. But the Battle Sisters, man, sometimes I don't know what's going on in my head here. I just figured that, hey, I got all these control points. I'll just turtle up and just continue teching up. Only one Battle Sister squad. That's all there is to it. While the Imperial Guard has actually 3 squads of Imperial Guardsmen. And they're taking this choke. Battle Sisters hasn't done anything in the first half of this map. While there's a skirmish here ongoing, and it looks like it's tipping on the side of Team 1. We'll see if they can actually push. Because that's a scary army of Slugger boys. Now you got the Helions, and you got the Shuda boys from Team, engaging. But those Vipers are actually getting bang for buck. They are really good against, they're effective, rather, against infantry. There we see that engagement. Zooming closer to get a cinematic feel. Damn, look at that. That's some solid play from both sides. But by the look of things, looks like we've got the Team 2 dominating the center map. You can see it from the map perspective alone. You got the Imperial Guard gathering up here, while you've got the Battle Sister appears to be sending their forces to support the guys on the bottom, because it seems like Team 2 is dominating center map. A little bit too late for the Battle Sisters though, but worth the effort. Just to show that, hey, I'm a team player too. But the fight has been majorly between. It's been Dark Eldar and Orks versus Eldar and Orks on this side of the map. The Battle Sisters just. If I remember my thought process here, it's like, okay, I'll just show my presence here, and in case they push through, they got a sizable force to deal with once they push through. But I didn't push my sisters beyond our section here, this little segment in the map. Never pushed them far beyond that. So the Orks from Team 1 has set up Storm Boys. So here's the deal, right? One thing I learned from this game is the fact that you want to capture strategic points. Now, mind you guys, I know of this already. It's just that sometimes I get so clustered up, teching up, rather than scouting around the map. So what I tend to do is I let my teammates actually deal with that. But lesson learned here, you want to capture as much strategic points as possible because it serves 2 purposes. One, it's a resource point. It helps with the resources. But number 2, it also helps scout things. So as you can see here, there's a battle. There's a battle going on, and looks like Team 2 again is dominating the center line. We've got the Imperial forces getting ready, inching closer towards the Battle Sister line. The Battle Sisters actually pulled their forces back, dug in, And that was it. You know, we've got a couple of Vipers.
We's all gonna die!
Supporting Battle Sisters here. And that scared the Imperial Guardsmen. So they went, they pushed back. It's so interesting to see the psychological warfare going on, because most likely, here, let's look at it from a Imperial Guard standpoint. Oh, sorry. There you go. Let's switch off the fog of war. They probably don't know that there wasn't much of a sizable force here. They went here and they got shot at, and that was it. That was it. That was all they knew. They can see this army for some reason, but they don't see the army going on here. So this is one reason why I kind of went low-key. I was hiding, letting the guys see my teammates, because I don't want them to know what's going on with the Battle Sister. But what I was really doing was really teching up as much as I can. So from their perspective, the Battle Sisters don't exist until it's time to show up. So all right, let's take out the fog of war. Let's see how. Boy, look at the army sizing up here. The Orcs are building as much forces on this side of the map. They're trying to fortify this side, this little choke point here, while you got a sizable army between the Orcs and the Dark Eldar on Team 2's side. Imperial Guardsmen here reigns unopposed. But you can see the Eldar way at the back here. And you got the Orcs up the front line. So they're tanking the brunt of whatever force is coming their way here. Well, the Eldar is supporting either way, whether it's the Battle Sisters or it's the Orcs. But mainly, the Eldar has been supporting the Orcs as best as they can. Imperial Guardsmen here, reigning unopposed. Battle Sisters doing nothing, just chilling, arming up, teching up as best as they can. But they have their Repentia squads already. Repentias are scary up close. So let's see, based on the fog of war, okay, they're not seeing that army anymore. You're not seeing anything, so that's good. So Team 1, Orcs, has Storm Boys, and most likely what this guy will be doing is scouting across the map. So Imperial Guard will be taking this position most likely. You might want to take this position because this becomes your scout point. You see who's coming in and out of this position with this strategic point. You want to capture that. So this point belongs to Team 2. This point, yep, okay. So the Imperial Guard has the right idea of actually capturing these points, because if you see what's going on, you just have so much more map awareness, and the Orcs doesn't want that. They're trying to scare away the Imperial Guard. But look at this engagement. You've got Orcs pushing forward. You got tank busters. I think these are stealth units. Yep, can use infiltration. There you go, and they're fighting. You got the Eldar supporting this side, and the Orcs are pushing back. It's quite an interesting fight. No communication still in Team 1. I remember this match well. My thought process during this match, there was no communication going on. It was just like, oh, okay, there's a fight going on, and it's like, boom. So Shooter Boys has moved in just to surround the Scourges. They've actually closed the gap, so they can't use their ranged weapons. And as you can see, there's a massive battle here. So as you can see, they're surrounding the Orcs. Now the Imperial Guardsmen are moving in to support their colleagues and allies here. That's a scary, sizable army. I wouldn't say scary. That's a little bit too far-fetched. Pardon me for that. But it is still a big army. That reinforcement, those reinforcements would definitely tip the tide here. But Team 1 seems to dominate and hold this position. Quite an interesting hold for Team 1. Well done, well done. So Team 2 will be arming up again, building their army, while definitely Team 1 will be fortifying this position. There you go. So let's turn on Fog of War. Okay, so they see this army. They see this army. They know it's there. And this army is moving forward. They seem to be committing to the clash. Look at that massive clash. Okay, that's a solid clash right there. Storm Boys are actually fighting through on this choke point. Now look at the tactical retreat by the Scourges. And the Storm Boys just went in, guys. Like, they went in. I'm like, nope, I'm going balls deep into this. So the Orcs and the Eldars are committing, but look at that defenses. Will this defense hold? Will it hold? That is the question. Now you can see here, one of the biggest disadvantage that Team 1 has is the fact that they're in negative cover position. That means that they're taking more damage and they move slower. They move slower. So they're at a huge disadvantage here. What the Imperial Guard could have done was encircle them. And once the Imperial Guard could have encircled them, that army is crushed and they can push all the way in. Unopposed. They can waltz their way in. Let's check out what our Battle Sister player is doing. Yours truly. Pardon me for that, but I haven't been playing team in this game, guys. Yeah, you can smack my booty for that.
Nothing like war to wake you up.
But yes, see? If the Imperial Guard actually blocked their path, the Orcs could have been cut out. But look at this. Okay, looks like the Eldar is harassing the Dark Eldar and the Orcs over here. That's quite a play.
This is what we like, bitch.
But it's interesting how the Dark Eldar, sorry, the Eldar on Team 1 side is actually playing tank. But what's interesting here, and I remember this play quite vividly, when I saw all three Team 2 players engaging in this position, I knew for a fact that their army is no longer here. So let's move on to. There we go. So I knew for a fact that once I saw the Imperial Guardsmen retreating here, they didn't have their army here at all. So this was high time, clear signal push, just to counterattack. And what that does is it pulls their forces away from the engagement zone here. So it relieves the pressure from my teammates. Now the scary part is the fact that the Imperial Guard actually pushed for a Baneblade. Now that's very scary. Now they're fighting a fully upgraded Battle Sister army, and that means that most of their guardsmen are probably ill-equipped because a lot of those resources fell into that Baneblade. So that is a scary Baneblade though. So you got your Repentia sisters just firing, shooting, trying to take down that Baneblade. And now they're retreating. But you can see here that the Dark Eldar has dominated the lower half of the map. Sorry, Team 2 rather has dominated the lower half of the map. While the upper half belongs to Team 1. So you can see the push and pull in the dynamic, the power dynamic in the map here. So the Orks supported the Battle Sisters push. The Orks pushed forward with their Storm Boys. The Battle Sister sort of hesitated. Now, as you can see, there are still some vehicles supporting that. But what that did, again, you see the psychology behind this, guys. It pulled the Dark Eldar away from this part, from pushing further to support their friends. Now, again, some players will call that bluff. Sometimes they would just fully push and go dive all in. But in this case, the play here was very much psychological. I don't know why the Battle Sisters are hesitating. They could have just pushed all the way in. And yeah, apparently they did now. But they have their artillery actually surrounded. That was no infantry support. That is very bad. That is very bad. Now, as you can see here, they did push in, but they're dealing with an avatar. So there's a relic unit here. So we'll see if the Orks are able to push. So there's a relic unit here. There's a relic unit here. We'll see if this push will pull through. But remember, guys, the sisters are fully upgraded. But the bad play here, the sad part here was the fact that they left their artillery to die. You know, in the army, when this is why you have combined arms, because you want to make sure that your infantry is supporting your vehicle. It's one side supporting the other, and the Battle Sister just forgot that part. Now, the Battle Sisters are surrounded. Of course, you got the Dark Eldar supporting the Imperial Guardsmen here. They wiped the Battle Sister army, and they're goners. Now here, you got a sizable army. The Team 1, Orks and Eldar has pushed forward. They've dominated. That gave them the liberty to actually push the lower half of the map, to dominate that lower half of the map. Now what the Orks are doing here is they're capturing control points. That way we still have scouting points. So Imperial Guardsmen owns this. They're trying to take this part.
Celestial Squad,
so as you can see here, there's only 2 Death Cult assassins. They could have just taken this or something, but they'll probably be spotted. There's a Chimera moving in. But that sacrifice, that army sacrifice, was a win, because that gave a little bit of liberty for the Orks and the Eldar to push and dominate the center map. If I was Team 2, though, after decimating the Battle Sister army, I could have just committed and pushed. Like, let the Orks defend this area and then just push all the way to take out the Battle Sisters. Because they didn't have an army. You wiped out their army, essentially. That was exactly the same thought process I had with the Imperial Guard. Like, after I took out their Imperial Guard forces, I pushed all the way in, take out as much bases as I could, because I knew they only had this Baneblade. Well, they had a couple of tanks, of course, but, you know, the Baneblade was a core of it. Now, the Imperial Guard now is trying to take over this center line, but that was it. What the Imperial Guard is doing, though, is they're dedicating resources to rebuilding a lot of their bases closer to their allies. And rebuilding these actually pulls resources from rebuilding their army. So the strategy here is you want to take out as much of their HQ structures as possible. And the reason behind that is because each time they try their best to stay in the game, that pulls away resources. from rebuilding their army. So as you can see here, they have Imperial Guardsmen. They've got the Bane Blades. So they're trying to retake the center line, but you can see here that there's a sizable army with a relic unit. So I think the Dark Eldar is also working on a relic unit. But that is a scary army from Team 2. Will Team 2 be able to push? Will they be able to push through this? That is a scary army. Now, that's not just Team... Okay, so here's the relic units by the Dark Eldar. So that is a scary army, guys. Look at that clash. Avatar of Cain is getting focus fired. Its HP is dropping like women's panties and clubs. Okay, there you go. So you have all that. That is a solid push. Now this is a 3v3, by the way, guys. So you get all three of them engaging here, while half of the army of the Imperial Guard is in this area. So they've actually wiped Team 1's army. They don't have anything. If I were them, I would have just pushed. But when I saw this, what I did as a battle sister was to push to this side, counter push. Like, you know they're down there, you know they're pushing, just push all the way in. And the Imperial Guard is trying to defend this position as best as they can. And as you can see here, they're actually pushing. They're committing. They're engaging to wipe Team 1 out. But there is a fight here. And this fight here is tipping towards Team 1's side. Because a lot of the Imperial Guard army isn't fully upgraded yet in comparison to the fully upgraded army of the Battle Sisters. Remember, they had to recreate their HQ command here just to be safe on the safe side. So resources dedicated to rebuilding their army or even upgrading their army has been diverted. Here, guys, you have Team 2 pushing. That's a massive battle right there. And you can see Team 2 is pushing through. Looks like this is a interesting fight. Look at the map. Look at the map, guys. You got the Battle Sisters taking the top side of the map, counter-attacking, while both Dark Eldar and Orks are pushing to take out the Eldar and the Orks from Team 1 side. So this is quite an interesting play because it is a tit-for-tat play. So you can see that Battle Sisters are focus firing. The interesting part was the Eldar actually sent Wraith Lords to support Battle Sisters' push here. We were trying to take out that Bane Blade as best as we can, but we couldn't. So I might as well take down all their production buildings, all their tech buildings, all their power supplies. It helps. But you can see here that Team 2 is dominating this fight. So they're trying to take out as much structures and tech against the Eldar, whoever dies first, basically. And what's interesting here is the players from Team 1 didn't even bother to recreate their HQ structures. They didn't even bother. Because they know that if they do that... Okay, look at the Battle Sisters. They've actually taken out the HQ building of the Imperial Guard. But now they're rushing to take out the Eldar, because that is what the Wraith Lords were doing. They were trying to take out these. Again, guys, if you take out the HQ buildings, what that does is it in order for them to stay in the game, they have to rebuild that, and that pulls their resources into rebuilding these rather than rebuilding their army. So as you can see here,
I knew today was gonna be special.
let's see. The good thing about the Eldar is they have their buildings stealthed out, so they can't see that without anti-stealth. So the Eldar was very safe here until they dished out another avatar. Oh my god, what a fight. Now as you can see here, the Battle Sisters has taken down their HQ buildings, both Dark Eldar and Imperial Guard, and now they're trying to take out as much tech as they can. Look at the Imperial Guard. They're building their field command again. And I think here, the Cabal Fortress for the Dark Eldar. So that is resources pulled away from rebuilding their army. So as you can see here, the fight is still ongoing, but you've got an Avatar of Cain here. That's gonna hold this. That's enough to hold this, guys. The Eldar was so lucky they had stealth. They had stealth. Had they not had stealth and Team 2 had stealth detection, the Eldar would have lost their HQ building. That was that little tiny detail in the play actually played a huge part in tipping the scales of this war. The Battle Sisters are pulling back here, but you can see Team 1, both Orcs and Eldar, are pushing to take over the center line of the map. Battle Sisters are pulling back. The Baneblade are chasing the Sisters of Battle. Quite an interesting play here. Now you can see, we got an immolator. But you can see these guys pulling back. They have to pull back. They have no choice. Wow, they're going to lose. Sisters are going to lose this Canadace. This Canadace was left to die. It was like, I'm going to die for the Emperor. Might as well. That was it. Boom. Dead. Battle Sisters retreated. But they've got their Living Saint back. Now, as you can see, the Eldar actually has webway gates across the map. Like, just to be mobile across the map. That's amazing play from the Eldar side. Like, I have such a huge respect for my Eldar teammate here. They were really good. I want to give them praises for how they played. He was all over the place. Like, he was spread thin, and that's quite a play. I struggled to even do that. Now, as you can see here, you got the Dark Eldar having a sizable army here. They're trying to recoup their army, and they're saying to heal the tank because, again, this tank is what's holding the line for them. That tank is definitely holding the line as best as he could. Like, it's solid. It's taken away a lot. So there you go. They're fortifying. Team 1 is capturing the center line. You can see Orcs roaming around, capturing points left and right. Because, again, these points are resource points and scout areas. What they did was they neutralized it. Okay, neutralizing is fair play too. That way, there's no map awareness on their side. So if we switch on their side, no map awareness at all. You can see that, no map awareness. The only awareness that they have is this strategic point, or this critical location right here. And that's why you want to capture as much points as possible, guys, because at the end of the day, that gives you so much map awareness. There you go. So now, see? So guys, this is why I was saying you always want to take out the HQ buildings of the opposing force. Reason behind that is, say for example, they're all the way Tech 3, Tier 3. They have to allocate resources into teching up again and again. So they can't rebuild their army that easy. So as you can see here, okay, there's a clash going on, and that's a clash between the Eldar and the Orcs. This is a 3v3, by the way. So the Orcs are getting pushed back. You got... Ooh, those Wraith Lords are scary. Yeah, it's a 3v3 here. Orcs, Imperial Guard, and Dark Eldar. But, ooh, there you go. You got the Battle Sisters coming in. So, I remember this play very well. And the reason behind that is because, okay, there's a massive fight going on here. Let me scare them by moving a sizable army up their doorstep. And what that does is this. Sister incoming. What that does is it scares them and pulls them away. So as you can see here, the Dark Eldar didn't even commit their forces into this fight because they saw that the Battle Sisters are in this area. So they're going to try and hold the Battle Sister, even if the Battle Sister aren't even fighting them. Sometimes the best fights are the fights that you don't even have to fight. So there you go. You got sorry, let me rephrase that. Sometimes the best victories are victories where you didn't even have to fight. There you go. It's all psychological. You just scare them because you've got a sizable army capturing all these points, and all I was doing was just wiping out the Imperial Guard buildings so they don't have much resources, and capturing all these capture points. So Team 1, Orcs, and Eldar are pushing on this front, but Team 2 is holding the line as best as they can here. Now, as you can see, Team 2 is also building a lot of their structures, but again, that is resources spent on building, rebuilding, while they're losing all these capture points. And if you take down all these capture points, they don't have much to rebuild with. So quite frankly, in this engagement, I should have just pushed all the way in while my allies have been fighting. The Avatar of Cain didn't even commit in this fight. But it was really just that. And yeah, they're just rebuilding and rebuilding as much as they can here. I should have committed, because if I committed, basically everybody is just dedicated in this area. Now, that was one blunder I had in this play, and now we got the Dark Eldar, the Orcs, and the Imperial Guard base here. So the Eldar is actually building a webway here. That is quite interesting. So you got an Orcs, Battle Sister is the main army here. That's a scary army from the Battle Sisters, and then you got the Orcs and the Eldar rebuilding their forces. They control the center map, guys. Team 2 is getting cornered. That's all I'm gonna say. Team 2 is getting cornered crazy. And as you can see here, the Orcs are pushing. They're trying to break through that siege. That's how I like to see this. This is more like a siege over here. And there you have it. Looks like it's a clash between the Battle Sisters. All three forces from Team 2 trying to break through that siege. Exorcist artillery firing on Team 2's forces. It's a crazy fight over here. Living Saint is getting focus fired by the Bane Blade. That is crazy. Now, Eldar popped in their warp fighters, and they're shooting Team 2's forces off the backs of the Battle Sisters. What an intense game. Look at that. Orcs moving in on the back line. What an interesting game, guys. What an intense game. Look at that. Team 2 has been wiped off the map. Battle Sisters are still in line. And they're pushing forward. They're pushing the Orcs back. Now, here's another fight here. Orcs has pushed this line while everybody's engaged in this side. You saw that message earlier. While they're fighting the sisters, they decided to push. And now that's how they broke through the Orcs' defenses. What a fascinating play. Now here, you know, Battle Sisters are trying to take down as much buildings as they can. They're trying to take down the Baneblade, but that Baneblade is getting microed really well. Props to the Imperial Guardsman player here. Salutations. Now, as you can see here, the Orcs has dedicated their defenses. And as I was saying earlier, guys, as I was saying, focus on the HQ building. But what the Orcs did was they were actually smart. Team 2 Orcs was really smart. They actually just created another HQ building here. But again, resources dedicated to building HQ buildings could be used to build more units. So that was it. That was actually it. That's what really that's why you always want to focus on the HQ building. Take out their HQ building.
Taking hits!
Because they can't stack up if your HQ building is down. You have to remember, once you rebuild that HQ building, you have to upgrade that over and over, and you know how much resources that costs. There you go. You got warp fighters taking out the Imperial Guard as best as they can. Now these Orcs are done for. Look at that. The Wraith Lords are just going for the HQ buildings, man. That was it. Now, Sisters of Battle just taking out Eldar buildings left and right. They didn't care while they're getting bombarded. That was it. It was like, nope, we're taking out these buildings and they're not rebuilding. We can rebuild our forces, but there's not much they can do after this. And there goes the Cabal Fortress of the Dark Eldar. Settlement of the Orcs from Team 2 ripped. And that is it. That is it, guys. That is what took out the Orcs. Forced has been kicked out of the game. And Xenos will lose their buildings here. So the Battle Sisters lost their army for sure. I don't think they're rebuilding. Oh, they are. So the Baneblade is just ripping and tearing the Battle Sister line. You've got Basilisk artillery just shooting them left and right. But Eldar to the rescue. And Eldar and Orcs to the rescue. Mechanized command. Dang, look at these Imperial Guardsmen actually. They're probably out of resources at this point, guys. That Baneblade, once that Baneblade goes down, that's it for them. Boom. Fantastic Fox has been kicked out of the game. That is it for this intense match, guys. That was an intense battle. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. This match was one of the best matches I've actually had. It was longer than usual, but it was fun. It was a tit-for-tat battle. It was yin and yang. It was push and pull, but eventually it was the little finer details that actually won the war. Now, what actually won the war? I mean, Team 2 could have taken out the Eldar in this match, but because they couldn't find the HQ building of the Eldar, it was totally stealthed out. They couldn't take it out. So what the Battle Sisters actually did was took advantage of that and taken out the HQ building of the Imperial Guard. Now, it's those little details in the match that actually tip the scales of this fight. It was so fascinating to watch. Now, what's interesting here is the Orcs also knew of that. That's why they built a lot of defenses around their settlement building, their HQ building, because they know that once that's out, it's gone. If I were Team 2, I wouldn't have gone for the Eldar. I would have gone for the Orcs. Well, quite frankly, I would have gone for the Battle Sisters instead. The Battle Sisters didn't have any defenses at all. They were just teched up. But that little detail right there tipped the scales of the fight. It was so fascinating to see in real time. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, I'll continue to cast more of these games as much as I can. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Please consider liking the video, commenting down below what you guys think, and subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel grow. But until then, this is your boy Vehement Gamer, and I'll be signing off for now. I'll see you next time.